in a study programme you take on responsibility for where they go afterwards. So you're taking on responsibility for a lot more than just delivering maths and English. And sort of think of the kinds of things that you might be trying to manage for those young people, the amount of time that's going to take, and you'll be somewhere towards it, but you'll never, until it happens, you'll never actually get it right. You will always underestimate the work that's there. I can tell you that for sure.
Some of the key issues when you bring in these young people, obviously they come to us with backgrounds of being really they haven't actually had access to the education that they should have had. They've been put through a mainstream system, or even they've had some supported education, but it's still within those kind of mainstream expectations. And what we've had to do is actually, for those young people, create much more individual kind of plans of learning for them, to actually bring up the skills that they need to be able to become more independent.
At the moment, we employ a part-time tutor to work with the young people, and they do some art-related activities. We might put some recreational things on at the end of term where they go on a residential to, for example, Northern College. They do some drama. They might do some intense pottery course here, and then we might employ some additional tutors and learning support assistants to actually help people have a general education, help them with their reading, help them with other subjects.
Many of our students, because they've been in specialist education, they've had transport provided for them. That's often because they've got mobility problems, or because the place where they're being educated is a long way from home. And this means that, unlike other young people, they've not learned to use public transport. They may also, because a lot of our young people are vulnerable and they've been bullied, during their leisure time they may be restricted. Their parents are worried about them. So the result is that they are underconfident about moving around under their own steam. They don't have the skills, and they don't have the resources of what to do when they become lost. And all of those things mount up, and it becomes more and more difficult for anyone to let them travel on their own. It's all very unsatisfactory for the young person and for everyone else concerned. So travel training is really to sort of try and undo that, and to get people confident with travelling. And what it involves really is making young people travel, making them travel independently on their own. But you carry that out stage by stage, bit by bit. And usually the first stage, well, we do a lot anyway of the first stage, is going out in groups. So we've done things like treasure hunts, that kind of thing, and they go around doing that. And then going further afield, one of the things is to get a group of young people to accompany another young person who's going on to work experience, to help them to learn their route. And then the final stage of travel training, which I don't often do, but I think it's a very good thing to do, I've managed to do it a couple of times unintentionally, which is where you allow the young person to get lost, and they have to use their own initiative to find themselves. If I say lose a student, it's with a twinkle in my eye, but I mean that allowing students to find themselves in a position where they're not quite sure what to do and let them think it through themselves is a really good thing, because it just gives them huge confidence, because the thing that they're worried about happening to them has happened and they've dealt with it. And usually that is think that after that they're not bothered, they can use everything, because they suddenly realise the worst has happened and it wasn't that bad. Whether people have learning difficulties or not, they're voracious learners, and learning is like food. It's something that's necessary for human well-being. It's food for the mind. With young people who've not been in education very long and who failed at some of the very basic parts of education, which is the socialisation really, but we've organised the timetable so that there are flexible lessons in it, and we tried to organise it so that there was, last year actually one of us was free at all times so that we could take people out and do pastoral sessions. There are issues that you have to drop everything and deal with, because if you didn't, you wouldn't get anything else done. And we are able to do that, and we're able to do that partly because we have some fantastic learning support assistants who are able both to take things on themselves and also just to hold the fort while a tutor takes things on.
You've got to be very, very flexible here. You've got to be willing to adapt to the changing needs of every different student, and also how they react to each other. I mean, a lot of our students get on very well together, but we do have disagreements. We've got to be changing now. Two people worked well together yesterday, but something's gone on, so they don't work together today. So I think it's really able to see what the student needs. Some of the students, their English is poor, so they like to have words written down in front of them. You know, I can't spell a word out verbally, but they can see it written down. It helps them often just to take the time to say, well, I think the student needs more English lessons. They benefit from some phonic skills because they don't know the sounds. It's also to see what different ways you can work with the students, maybe use also technology as well. If their writing skills are poor, see, well, okay, we can do this by, you know, a lot of times I've acted as a scribe because the student can say what they want, but they're not sure how to form letters, not sure what the words look like, but because man is given us the freedom, I can scribe for them, which I think does help a lot.
I think we're all skilled. All of us really have a background, or those of us who have been teaching in schools and colleges have all gravitated towards teaching the most difficult young people, and so we have a fair amount of skill at doing it.
I think we need to be more like a family, not like a... Obviously, yeah, we have to keep the distance because I'm a teacher, they are the students, but it's more like a family here. It's more like they are my kids, and I try to think what sort of things I would like to teach my own kids and what I would like them you know, to learn for the future. We try to teach them all the basic skills which they need for real life, but also I think what's working here, it's like in a family, you just forgive everything they do and start again and again and again next day, like you do with your own kids. So we never fed up, we never give up on any of them, and we never angry and remembering whatever they did. We're still forgetting and starting at the same time, you know, at the same point they did start a day before. And I think this is what is very much what is Swarthmore about, what is this study programme about here.